Okay, in this video we will be working on her left eye using the same technique as in the previous part, but with a little more precision. Roll the intro. Okay, so we will be using smaller brushes in this stage, employing the same technique as we did in the previous video. But in this case, we will be a little more careful to follow the structure or the lines that we drew, and based on the reference, we will try to hit the correct lines and darken those areas. Basically, we are drawing thicker lines here using the brush. We focus on the darks, but we don't want to go too overboard. Still trying to be as conservative as we can so that we don't go too dark. So it's better to be a little bit lighter than just add more strokes later than to go too dark too soon. This way we can control our shading. So by layering on more brush strokes from our previous strokes than we did in the previous video, we are now automatically creating two values in the dark area and one value for the light. Later, when we erase this certain points here, we're going to create a fourth value which will create a volume. Our image will look more 3D than before. Of course, we are not limiting ourselves to a single value again, just like the previous video, but we will attempt to extend our shading if we find it necessary or if the opportunity arises. So again, when problems occur just like that, just use your kneadable eraser and then just in this case I had to use a tissue paper because of the paper, this Oslo paper, to to just even out the shade. But in vellum you might not need to use a tissue paper to even out the values. So here I'm now using the kneadable eraser to create light values in the eyes, and soon I will be doing that again on the other parts of the eye. And in here I'm just enhancing some of the darks in the iris and the eye. By the way, I'm going to make a tutorial for that, so you can to help those in need there to create realistic eyes. So using I added the hair pala dyan, so that sometimes we don't have to have the hair first, so it doesn't get in the way when we are doing our shading, and just write them down later, just similar to this strand of hair. So at this point I'm just adding more strokes to the darker parts based on the reference again, and just using the eraser now to lift those shadings that covered that to reveal the highlights, and that way I can measure if we are going too dark or too light. So it's just the strategy is to use a value, to employ a value, to use a value that you are sure of. For example, here the lights, I'm very sure that the lights will be this will be the maximum light, so I used that to evaluate the surrounding values, so to ask myself if I need to darken it or I need to erase it more. So this is where we are at right now. So looking at it, comparing at the reference, it seems like the eye bags are a little lighter here and a little thinner, but that's because the eye bags in the reference are not really that thick, but it's the cheek, the recess in the cheek between the eye bags and the cheek is what's creating that. So I'll see you in the next video for the right eye.